Alright guys, check this shit out. 5 quarts. 10 quarts. Are these 5 each?
No, they're not.
Oh, these are 4. So we're at 12 quarts. Does that make 16?
Yes, it does. We'll have 1 quart left over.
Out of all of this oil, over $100 worth of oil, we'll have 1 quart to spare.
Ah, 2 jugs of antifreeze.
And you know that's not enough.
Nope.
$150 worth of fluid. That's not even getting into our brand new shiny parts.
And $650 worth of shiny parts.
$750 worth of shiny parts.
Oh, $750.
Yeah, you're already forgetting how much of a financial burden this thing is. Welcome to another video.
Today we're putting the truck back together.
As you can see guys, this thing is completely ludicrous with the amount of fluids it consumes, not only diesel fuel, but also coolant and oil. 15 quarts. And then all the coolant that goes into the job. Yeah, completely outrageous. $150 just to the oil change.
Just in juices to put in this thing.
Yeah, you think your $40 oil change is bad? $150 for this one, not to mention it was $30 in diesel every other day. There are reasons besides space and funding that we're getting rid of this, but there's a few things we have to do. What's the biggest hurdle, Devin?
It's gonna be cleaning that intake out, because it is filthy.
It is so gross. And from what I've read online, you don't really gain a huge benefit out of trying to hot tank these things or anything like that. And soaking them in degreaser really doesn't do much either, so we're gonna go as hard as we can with brushes and a hose and see how far it gets.
Yep. And then after that, it's just a matter of putting everything back in with all our shiny new parts. So. And
then the truck is out of here and we can continue working on the Porsche. Funny thing about that is, it's not a funny thing, it's an awesome thing.
Yep.
A subscriber has decided to contribute and donate a turbo, which is great. We don't have it yet. I'm arranging a label to be sent to him. It's a spare, so we'll do a turbo reveal on the 911. No matter what it is, we're gonna make it work, assuming that it doesn't need to be rebuilt or anything like that. But huge shout out to that guy when we actually get the turbo. We'll talk more about that. But the first thing, the big hurdle that we have right now is that 8,000 pound turd at the top of the road we need to get rid of. So we're gonna get started fixing this thing.
Let's do it. That's really gross to think about.
What?
What you just said there. I just pictured an actual truck-sized turd at the top of this cul-de-sac.
Like a legit turd? Like
legitimate turd, like an 8,000 pound turd.
That's hilarious to think about.
That's fucking disgusting. So gross.
Well, let's fix this turd so we can get it off of our, it's not our property, it's public property. But
turd out of our cul-de-sac.
First thing we have to do is remove the old Egr Cooler. If you're unfamiliar with what it looks like, it's this tube that runs along the bottom of the intake manifold. There's our new one right there. It's really freaking nasty on the inside, so we're going to spend a good amount of time cleaning that and disassembling and cleaning this all these parts off of the oil cooler so we can put the new one on.
We filled the intake holes with rubber gloves just to make sure that none of the degreaser went out the bottom. Shaking around the degreaser loosened up a lot of the gunk in there so that when we sprayed the hose in there, a lot of it came out. As you can see, some of the buildup can be pretty extreme. Replacing the oil cooler is a matter of taking off a few plates on the top. There's 2 nuts on the top of the oil cooler itself and 2 studs on the bottom.
Screwing the stud nuts on here, we'll pull the whatever the hell that is on top of the new oil cooler. These O-rings are pretty tight by nature, so it can be difficult to get this on and off.
The oil cooler kit comes with brand new gaskets for everything that bolts on the top.
Alright, we got one of these cheap fluid pumps that you can get from, you know, AutoZone or something. And we're gonna get all this old oil out of here because we spilled a bunch of coolant in it, and it's old oil. It's gonna take a while.
Once you get everything pumped out of here, all you do is replace the screen, wipe up the surrounding edges, put the gasket on the oil cooler, and it's ready to go in. After making the EGR cooler identical to the old one, we just simply bolt it back to the intake manifold, and that whole piece is ready to go back in. After the manifold and EGR cooler are secure, you can put in the turbo pedestal. Now is when you're going to want to connect all of your injectors as well as the plug that is behind the turbo. We actually forgot to do this, and it was a real pain in the ass to try and plug in with the turbo in the car. With your wiring harness installed, you can now install the oil return tube for the turbo and place the turbo directly on top of that. With so many tubes and pipes, the turbo can be a little bit of a pain in the ass to get into the right spot, but there's notches on the mounting plate that let you know when you have it exactly where you need it. Oil filter and fuel filter assembly is up next, followed by installation of the FICM. The EGR and intake 90 degree are up next. We hooked up the turbo's oil feed line and then installed the air charge tubes. Finally, we can put the coolant bottle back in and hook up all the radiator hoses, and we should be good to go.
Gonna do that steam thing for a little while until it really dries out. So we'll let it run. Alright, so thank God that's over. A little bit less of a how-to on the second one, and more just putting stuff together, but if you know how to take it apart, then it's just the opposite of that. You can follow our steps. It was just basically the reverse of how it went out of the truck. Took like 1.5 years of cranking to get it started for some reason.
Yeah, that was an insane amount of cranking. We were starting to think that other things were wrong, but eventually it just went and started.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. It was just not, it didn't like stutter and then turn on, it just like turned on, so.
No, it was nothing and then it was there.
Well, that's gonna wrap this how-to up. That was an EGR cooler and an oil cooler and an EGR valve and 17 gallons worth of fluid later. Devin's going to go ahead and pick a winner for this video's giveaway. If you're unfamiliar with our channel, we give away products from boostedshades.com every single video.
This video's winner is Luke the Joker.
Okay, Luke, you can hit us up at Teamboosted at boostedshades.com or through any of our other social media platforms, and we will get back to you and ship you your prize. To win the video giveaways, all you have to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Just because this is the second one in the how-to series, just comment whatever you want, and you're eligible to win.
As always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.